What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another vintage Star Wars loose graded market update. We've got AFA, UKG, and CAS loose graded figures, and as you can tell by this thumbnail, some really nice ones. And some of the prices were actually pretty good. Some of them went a little bit higher than I expected, and we're going to cover all of those in great detail. As always, thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys get access to my videos 24 hours early. Patreon.com/actionfiguregrader is where you can go to sign up. So let's take a look at a few loose graded figures that sold here recently on eBay. And we're going to start with a few of them. Well, throughout the video, we're going to have some of the figures that I've touched on in my What to Buy video. And this is one of them. This is the 15-inch IG-88. This is obviously from the 12-inch series, and this one was graded by CAS. What an amazing item. I would love to have bought this. This one is so big, but I do love IG-88. He's definitely one of my favorite vintage characters, and this 15-inch figure has got these grenades that kind of wrap around the bandolier, and CAS does a great job with presenting this large figure. And as we know from my vintage market updates, these even ungraded but complete can sell for a lot of money. And this one was graded CAS 85, as you can see by the label here. Well, there it is. 12-inch series, IG-88, 85 grade. And big, beautiful acrylic case. Who doesn't love acrylic cases in their collection? And this one certainly is gorgeous. It sold for $860 in an auction. Actually, I thought that price was pretty good, given that I found some data points for this figure, loose, complete, ungraded, and I think the highest price I found was $900. So $860 plus $30 shipping. I think that's a really great price for a very tough to find loose graded figure. So congrats on that one. A couple of different tri-logo Boba Fett sold. One of them the painted knee, one of them the unpainted knee. Usually the painted knee goes for less than the unpainted knee, and so this was made in like the PBP factory, light blue body type to this Boba Fett. This was graded UKG 85% with the brand new case style, and it sold at an auction 420 pounds, which equates to $513 US plus shipping. I think that price is actually pretty fair for a nice high grade tri-logo. And then here's the unpainted knee, which does tend to go for a little bit more money. I think there's 4 or 5 different tri-logo Boba Fetts. It's the painted dart and unpainted dart, and there's painted knee, unpainted knee, and several different variations thereof, including the belt type can be like a dark brown paint, or bitone, where the legs, where the paint on the belt for the leg portion is different color than the crotch portion. So lots of different ones. I've seen a photo, I think it was from Variant Villains, that had 5 different examples for the tri-logo Boba Fett. This one sold for $610 US or 500 pounds, so a little bit higher than the painted knee version, which sold for $513. And then now let's dig into SW Seller. I've gotten to know this seller, and as I talked about in my What to Buy video, he had several different loose graded figures, 80 pluses and 85s that sold at auction. And this one is an 80 plus Taiwan Chewbacca, and as I've talked about, it's tough to find this one. You don't see it loose graded very often. This one sold for $142.50, AFA 80 plus 1175 shipping. I've seen them sell like in UKG 85s. There was a UKG 85 that sold for $240 US. So given the slightly lower grade, even though you're going from UKG to AFA, $142.50 I thought it was a pretty good price there. Death Star Droid, this one was graded AFA 80 with the brand new case style. That one was a good price too, $133.50 plus 1175 shipping. That's a price I would have paid all day long. Next up was a small head Han Solo, one I still want in my collection. This one was a Hong Kong COO, and as you can tell by the limbs, the arms, the white portion of the arms, just had a little bit of slight paint degradation versus the chest, just a slightly different shade there. The chest and the shirt there was obviously a brighter white versus the arms. But that one sold for $144.50 plus 1175 shipping. Again, you know, AFA 85s, I've seen them sell for $350 to $400, believe it or not. So $144.50 for an AFA 80 Han Solo small head. I think that's a good price. Next up was an AFA 80 plus small hood, no COO Jawa. So this would be like a Palatoy Jawa. Dark Stitch, and that one sold for $130.50. Another great price, I think very, very fair for that really nice looking Jawa that was probably made in the Palatoy factory. Next up was an 80 plus Hong Kong Princess Leia with the brand new K-Style. That one sold for $312 in an auction, 26 bids, plus $11.75 shipping. And again, that price is kind of right in line with market. I mean, that's a pretty fair price to pay for it. AFA 85s can set you back $500 or $600 now. I've seen as high as $750 for an AFA 85 Hong Kong Princess Leia. And this one had the brown hair and belt. There's also obviously a black hair and belt for the Hong Kong COO, but another very fair price in my opinion. Next up was an 80 plus Hong Kong Obi-Wan Kenobi with a lettered saber, and that one sold for $156 plus shipping. The cape is kind of falling off on one arm there a little bit, so that probably held the price down just a little bit. That's just an annoying thing with any of the grading companies, is to make sure that the capes are fully on there before they encapsulate them. And in this case, they didn't do it, or they just didn't take enough care with it. But I think that if that cape presented a little bit better than it does inside the AFA case, you might have hit closer to $200. It's usually about $250 or higher for an AFA 85 for the Ben Kenobi. And this one, again, had the letter on the saber hilt. So that's an early saber that would appear on some of the early card backs for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Next up was an AFA 80 Solid Dome R2-D2 Hong Kong COO. Just a little bit of yellowing to the sticker. That probably held it back just a little bit. $194 for that one. But the same seller also had an AFA 80 Plus Hong Kong Solid Dome R2-D2. That one sold for $256. So you can see the price difference to go from an 80 to an 80 Plus. It's about $50 or so to get that slight upgrade in price, or in grade. And then, you know, to go to an 85, gosh, it's probably $350 to $400 pretty easily for an AFA 85 Solid Dome Hong Kong R2-D2. So $256 was more than fair. Next up, we had one of the Grails that was in this batch of listings. This one is the double telescoping Luke Skywalker AFA 75. Obviously, it has some pink to the arms as well as the white portion of the tunic on the legs versus the torso, which is nice and bright white. But it's got that rare double telescoping lightsaber. And someone had asked me prior to the auction ending what I thought it would end up at, and I said it would probably end up at $1,500. So I was way off. It only sold for $1,100. I think that's a really great price. AFA 80s can easily approach $2,000 or more. AFA 85s we've seen as high as over $3,000. So $1,100 for an AFA 75 I think is right in line with market, if not below what I expected, to be honest with you. So $1,100 on that one. And then here was the gem. This was an AFA 85 Vinyl Cape Jawa with the old case style. This is exactly the type of item I have. Same case style, same grade. And this one sold for $3,282. So another big price for a Vinyl Cape Jawa. Again, with the brand new case style in the same grade, you might get closer to $4,000, believe it or not. I've seen them sell for that. So this one was discounted because of the older case style. But $3,282, again, is probably right in line with market, unfortunately. I mean, Vinyl Cape Jawas just continued to go up in price, and that was a gorgeous example. The cape on that one was really nice. It had a couple little minor scuffs right there on the front of the cape, but presents very, very nicely. And there's the grade AFA 85 vinyl cape. And then it also included the certificate of authenticity from Collectible Investment Brokerage, which is affiliated with AFA and authenticated by Tom Derby, one of the principals over at AFA. So beautiful example. Congratulations to the winning bidder on that one. Next up was a long iTubes AFA 80 Plus Tusken Raider. Somebody got a great deal on this one. I have this exact same grade, exact same case style. I paid $160 shipped for mine, and this one sold for almost the exact same price, $147.50 plus $11.75 shipping. I paid $160 shipped for mine, so that's kind of right in line with exactly what I paid for mine. So long iTubes, it's just a slight variation where the iTubes are a little bit longer than the standard Hong Kong, as you can see there. They stick out just a little bit further on his eyes there. Obviously, the hollow cheeks is the most desirable, with the exception maybe of the Spanish figures. But beautiful example for the long iTubes Tusken Raider, and about $160 took that home. Next up was an AFA 80 Luke Skywalker Bespin fatigues with the blonde hair. Again, the Hong Kong COO, brand new case style, $128.50. I think that's a great price for a nice looking Luke Bespin. I mean, this was pretty harshly graded, in my opinion. AFA 80 on that one. It looks like it did have a slight discoloration on the boot there and some scuffing. That's probably what held the grade down on this one, is that you can see on his left leg there, it's got some pretty bad scuffing and scratches to the boots, as well as on the right leg, and just some minor kind of issues with it. But the figure itself, I think, presents a lot nicer than an AFA 80. Just because it's really on the boots at the bottom that caused that grade. So $128.50, great price on that one. Next up was an AFA 80 Plus Hong Kong, standard Hong Kong with the kind of the red lipstick look to the visor. That's kind of an overspray there. But still a nice looking figure, and 80 Plus was the grade on that. $322.55 took that one home. So Boba Fett's continued to command big money, but nothing compared to this one. I was shocked by the final sales price on this. It was a CAS 90 Plus Taiwan Boba Fett, and I knew it would go for a lot of money, but I was not expecting this much money. $814.88 in an auction, 44 bids plus $10 shipping. So let's call that about $825. Took home a 90 Plus, which is very tough to get on any vintage figure. I don't care who's grading it. To get a 90 Plus on a Taiwan Fett, that's a very desirable item, but I guess I probably should have expected that price, but it just seemed really high to me. But Taiwan Fets, I mean, they're gonna get big money, especially a 90 Plus grade. So 90 Plus, dark brown belt, dark green chest, Taiwan. So beautiful figure, and certainly an eye-popping price on that one. Next up was a UKG 90% Luke Bespin, same figure that we just talked about. That was the 80 grade, and the price reflected the big change in grade. It did have the older case style from UKG, but it did not stop the bidding. 230 pounds, which is $281 on 20 bids. That closed on March 20th. Certainly a nice looking figure, but it was the older case style, so keep that in mind. That probably held the price back. I would say that if this was a UKG 90 with the brand new case style, which is primo, chef's kiss, very, very nice grading cases for the new UKG cases, but I bet it would have been more like $350 for that one. Next up was an Imperial Commander. This was the Hong Kong graded UKG 85% with the brand new case style. It was only listed for 94 pounds. Best offer accepted. So I'm guessing it probably sold right around $100 for that one, but that's a pretty good price for a nice high grade Imperial Commander. And then we got a last 17 uncirculated 85 Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper disguise. This one had the old case style from AFA, but it was an uncirculated 85. That's a really high grade. And it was at auction. It sold for 620 pounds, which is $758. Kind of right in line with market, I would say, for an older case style. I bet if this one had the new case style, it would probably have been $850 to $900 pretty easily, but certainly a nice looking example for a very desirable last 17 Luke. And then finally, the same seller also had a UKG 90% EV99 with the old case style. It did have the coin encased, the Power of the Force coin encased alongside it, but very, very high grade, 90%. And that one sold for 461 pounds, which is $563. So that's probably kind of right in line with market, I would say, for a nice high-grade EV99. So in general, the prices were pretty fair for this batch of items that I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you enjoyed looking at some recent sales. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.